This is Manlihood, the podcast for men who want to rise up and live with purpose. With your host, Josh Hatcher, this show is here to help you level up as a husband, father, leader, and man, with real conversations and strategies to help you in every area of your life.
Black eyes and bloody lips. You know, if you are a scrapper, and if you've ever been in a fight, you might have had one of those things, or maybe you gave some of those things. But if you know what it's like to get smacked around, or to smack somebody around, or maybe to just be clumsy, you know what it's like to experience pain like that. And we're going to talk about embracing that pain today on Manlihood. But before we get into that, let me just remind you that Manlihood Plus is our new subscription service. That's where we've got bonus content. You're going to get information that you can't find anywhere else. You're going to get bonus episodes where you're going to get excellent resources to help you level up as a man. You can't find it anywhere else. You're going to get it on Spotify, and you're going to get it on YouTube for $4.99 a month. That's cheaper than any other subscription service you've got, and you're going to get stuff that you can't find anywhere else. So make sure that you go to YouTube. If you're watching us there, the link should be in all of the show notes. If you're listening to us on Spotify, the link should be there in the show notes. If you're on Apple and you're listening to us, that's awesome. Head over to one of those other platforms and you can subscribe to Manlihood Plus. You can also find it at our website and you can get those links there. Just click the button, go right on through, and you can check it out. By the way, our website has been relaunched. I did a little work cleaning it up. There's still some stuff that I need to clean up a little bit, some stuff in the background, but I'm like, man, look, Manlihood is streamlined and simplified. So I cleaned it up. There's a lot more I want to do in terms of cleaning it up, but it looks good for now. So hopefully it loads good for you. If you notice anything wonky, just let me know. We're trying to make sure that we're ranking for the right search engine terms too. So we'll be adding stuff as we go, and hopefully we can do what we need to go. Wow, Josh can't even talk today. Here I am, a podcaster, and I'm stumbling over my words, but I guess it happens to everybody, right? We're hoping that this website can get noticed where it needs to get noticed. That's the plan. So go to manlihood.com and share it with somebody. You know, if you've got another guy in your life that you know can get something out of this, please share this with somebody. Also, if you didn't know this, I don't know if we let everybody know this yet, but Apple has officially given us our old feedback. So I know some of you guys had subscribed to the feed when we had messed it up and we got a new feed. Well, our old feed is back. Our old reviews and ratings should be back on that feed. So go to our website, go to Apple, or go to Apple and search in Manlihood and it'll come up, or go to our website and click on podcast, click on the Apple podcast link, and make sure that that is the feed and that you're following it, and leave us a rating and review on that feed. That way we're going to make sure that we get the right Apple feed if that's what you use to listen to your podcasts. So I think we're finally set up properly. Thank you so much, Big Tech, for making it difficult. But we're moving forward, and we're going to make this thing soar to the moon, baby. Let's make Manlihood do some awesome things. So all of that nonsense getting out of the way, let's talk about black eyes and bloody lips. You know, when I was a kid, especially maybe 4th through 8th grade, I had to fight a lot. I was bullied. I was picked on. Honestly, I was bullied from the time I was kindergarten on up. You know, picked on the school bus and at the bus stop, and picked on by teachers. And, I started learning how to defend myself, so I would fight back. And, I came home with a lot of black eyes. Sometimes those black eyes were because I was just clumsy. I'd run into doors. But sometimes I'd get in a fight, and I'd come home and I'd tell Mom I ran into a door, and she'd believe me, or say she believed me. But a lot of times I'd get in a fight, and I'd get a black eye, or I'd get a bloody lip. Sometimes I'd give a black eye, or I'd give a bloody lip. And, even today, I don't get in fights. I haven't been in a fight since I think my last fight was like 10th grade, maybe 11th grade. I stopped fighting in 8th grade to defend myself, and after that I fought to defend other people a couple of times, and that's about it. I'm a grown-up, I don't need to fight, honestly. I got to be the biggest kid, and so now I'm at the place where I walk in the room and people leave me alone, and my presence usually deters most fights. But I still injure myself, right? I still sometimes run into doors. But that feeling when life sometimes, whether it's physical, right, and you get a physical injury, or it's a metaphorical injury, and you're feeling like you've got a black eye. You're feeling like you've got a bloody lip. You've got that pain, and it's manifesting in your life in such a way that people can look at you and they can see that you're in pain. I think as guys, we try to hide it. We try to pretend that we're not in pain. And I'm going to be real with you. We don't do a very good job at it. Because what we do is we project that we're okay, and we do a really crappy job at that. We try to pretend that nothing is wrong. We take it out on people. That's the really, really kind of sad thing that we do. We're in pain, and so we act like nothing's wrong. We act like it's everybody else's fault. We point fingers. We bully people. Yeah, it's not helpful. And I know you know the type, right? I know that we all can point at people where we've seen them do this. You can look at them and you can see them manifesting the pain that's on the inside by inflicting that pain on other people. We don't want to be that. That's not manly to do that. That's what little boys do. That's what unhealed boys do. We're not going to do that, guys. So here's what we want to do. We want to learn to embrace this pain so that we can recognize its role in our life. And guys, this was really difficult for me. It's really honestly just been the past few years that I'm starting to really understand this. My whole life has been about avoiding pain. Pain is, and I still am struggling through this, to be honest with you. Pain is something that I have tried to avoid my whole life. I tend to try to not push it on other people. I just tend to avoid it. Because that's the other thing that we do with pain. We just avoid it. That's how I gained a bunch of weight, right? That's how my relationships get strained, because instead of pushing that pain onto everybody else, I just run from it. I just hide from it. I just pretend it's not there. I just do things to comfort myself so I don't have to feel the pain. Right? Whatever the case is, if we don't embrace that pain, all you're doing is you're pushing it off either onto somebody else or you're pushing it off until later. Hardship is unavoidable. It's part of what shapes us. And I know that in my life, if I pushed off that pain too long, it's going to come back to me later. I had pain, guys. I talked about being bullied as a kid. I had some other traumas, some things that happened to me, some things that I went through as a kid, and I didn't deal with it. And so as an older adult, starting to work through that stuff, I think honestly I really worked through some of that stuff, but I didn't work through the pain of it. I didn't work through the hurt of it. I pushed that off. I didn't let myself feel it. And as a result of that, the pain of everyday life, losing a job, my kids growing up, my dad dying, that pain I just kept pushing off too. I just kept numbing that with candy bars and pizza, right? You know, for you, it might be alcohol. For you, it might be sex, masturbation, porn, whatever, drugs, whatever our vice is. We numb that pain, which just means we're pushing that pain off to deal with another day. In fact, we're often amplifying it. We have to then really get down to the nitty-gritty and embrace that pain today. Because if not, that black eye and that bloody lip is still there and it won't heal. We're just covering it up so our mom doesn't see it. We're putting makeup over top of it. I think people that spend time in the gym, right, they understand pain because no pain, no gain. They understand that you're pushing through and you're building and you're getting stronger. They understand a lot of times pain is, you know, I mean, you think of Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson, who says pain is just weakness leaving the body, you know, and I think to some degree there's truth to that. I do think that sometimes, you know, the gym rats can also become addicted to the pain, and that becomes another whole story, because then that becomes using that kind of pain to avoid dealing with the inner pain too. But there is something about pushing through the struggles, pushing through the hardship, pushing through the struggle of working through your inner pain, pushing through the temporary pain, pushing through the problems that you're facing. You know, right now I've started working out and walking every day, and now I've kind of got some issues with my feet. They're hurting me. I've got to keep pushing through that. I have to take care of my feet. I got to get some new shoes, do some stretches. But if I have to rest my feet a little bit. I've got to ice them, but I also have to keep working them, because if I just stop and give up now, I'm going to put all this weight back on that I've lost. That's not good. So I have to keep being persistent and have perseverance and have grit if I'm going to continue, right? You see where I'm going with this. That pain, I still have to push through it if I want to heal, if I want to grow. The other thing, guys, when it comes to pain is you've got to have brotherhood around you. Look, especially that emotional pain. And guys, I don't know why this is, but we men do not like to talk about this stuff. We don't like to talk about our feelings. It's just not manly to do. I get it. I get it. Nobody wants to sit around and sing Kumbaya and hold hands, and we don't want to cry. I understand. I get it. You don't have to necessarily sit around in a support group. You know, you don't have to sit around like the women do and pass around the tissue box and cry. But for goodness sake, do something together. Lift weights and talk about what you're going through. Get real. You know, go walk a trail and have a conversation. At least have one or two people that you can trust. And if you don't have that person now, start building that in a person now. And you'll be like, well, I don't have anybody. I can't find anybody. Look, everybody says that. So that means that there are people out there that also want it. You've got to start looking for it, and you've got to start trying, and you've got to start somewhere. Because, guys, you don't need to do this alone. Look, I know our private Facebook group is a place you can start looking for some friends. You know, it's not the same as real life, but like, just put on there, hey guys, look, I'm feeling kind of lonely. I need somebody to talk to. I guarantee you, one of the guys will reach out to you. Now, here's the deal. You can post anonymously in the Facebook group, but if you do that, they don't know who you are and they can't necessarily reach out to you. So put on there with your name, just be like, look, I need somebody to talk to. Maybe give them an idea what you need to talk about. And one of the guys who's been through something similar, I guarantee you, they'll be willing to talk to you about it. And I can tell you this, if I haven't been through what you're going through, and I know somebody that has, I'll see if I can help you connect with somebody, just a friend to talk to you. And maybe we can help you find somebody in real life who's willing to hang out and talk, help you talk through some of this stuff. But honestly, guys, a lot of this is on you to start building. You have to take responsibility. I know people are tired of hearing that, you want everybody to do it for you. But that's not going to happen because you have to start building the community around you. You have to start building the friendships around you. If you want to grow, you have to. And you have to start investing in these people. Because if you need them to be there for you, you need to start being there for them. And so, and you can't just have them be there for you when times are bad. You have to be there for each other when times are good, so that when you need each other when times are bad, you're there. Right? That's how friendships work. But you do that, and then you've got that brotherhood. So I have to explain that because I'm talking about pain, right? And I'm talking about the hard times. I'm talking about you need this brotherhood that's there for you when you're in a time of pain and when you're in hard times and you need somebody. You need somebody to rely on. And a lot of us are right now in that place and we have nobody. So I understand. Right now you have nobody. So push through it. And if you're pushing through it alone, I get it. Look, I can give you a couple little crutches with the Manlihood Man Cave, our private Facebook group, and we can be there for you as little crutches to help you through this part. Okay? If you don't have anybody, we'll push through to help you through this part. Now, as you get through this part, start building your tribe, your band of brothers that can help you. And you start building those relationships so that you've got them when you need them. The other thing we need to think about, guys, is learning from failure, because when it comes to this pain that we're going through, recognize that sometimes, if you have a black eye, it's because you didn't block the punch. If you have a bloody lip, it's because you didn't keep your hands up. Like if you're boxing and if you took a shot to the face, you failed at blocking that hit. You didn't keep your hands up, man. You didn't block that punch. If you got hit in the face, you weren't bobbing and weaving. And so this is how we can learn from failure. Now, I get it. Not all of your pain is your fault, but some of it is. Right? I think that's fair to say. Right? It's painful to say. It hurts to say. I'm sorry if it hurts your feelings. I guess I'm not sorry if it hurts your feelings. I know. Here's Josh being the jerk again. I'm not sorry if it hurts your feelings. And I think that's, if you're Gen X and you're Gen Z, when I say it that way, you're like, hey, dude, I get it. If you're a millennial right now, especially like a younger millennial, like if you're an elder millennial, it's like in your, 35 to 40 range, you're like, I get it. That like middle and younger millennial, you're like really offended right now that I'm not sorry that I hurt your feelings. I'm sorry. I'm not sorry. Look, your feelings are not the most important thing on the planet, okay? Let me just put that out there. They're just not. They're not. Now, some of the pain that you're going through in your life is your own fault. Accept it. And now learn from your failures. Okay? If you got hit in the face, it could have been because your guard wasn't up. If your life fell apart, it could be because you weren't holding it together. If you lost your job, it could be because you weren't showing up on time or you weren't doing a good enough job. If your car broke down, it could be because you weren't checking the oil. Now, that doesn't mean that everything that goes wrong in your life is your fault. I understand that. Sometimes things happen to you that are beyond your control. Totally understand that. But we can take responsibility, one, for the things that we have done wrong, and we can work on that. And two, we always have to take responsibility for what we do with what happens to us. Responsibility is always our response. So we can learn from the failures of ourselves and the failures of others. How can we learn from failures? How can we learn from the setbacks? What can we learn from the situation we're in? Well, I can learn not to trust this person anymore. I can learn not to be in this situation again. How can I learn the lesson from this black eye and this bloody lip? We have to be able to really understand how to be resilient. When hardship comes, it's not about, we have to learn to roll with the punches, right? You know, if somebody throws a punch at you and it hits you in the face and you don't move, right? Or you lean into that punch, you know, you're basically hitting him with you're hitting him with your face if you lean into that punch. But if you roll with that punch, it means you're moving in the same direction. You know, you're moving with that punch, so you're taking away the force of his punch by rolling with it. So we learn how to adapt and how to adjust so that we don't let those things hit us as hard, especially the next time that they come at us. Guys, most of the situations that we are in that cause us pain, we can grow from if we can learn to control ourselves, to have that self-control, and to have discipline. And look, I'm struggling with that right now. You know, I've had some shifts in my life recently. I went back to an old job where I'm back at a desk all day. You know, so there's some older habits that I was in, and the snack machine is right there. And, you know, it's easy to go back to older mindsets that I was in when I gained a bunch of weight, and to, you know, put on a little bit of the weight that I worked really hard to lose. So, and to be a little bit depressed, right? To have some of those old mindsets slip back in. It's easy to be in that situation. I have to be the one that's self-controlled. I have to be the one that's disciplined. And that can help me to stop falling into that trap that I was in before when I gained a bunch of weight. You see? That self-control and that discipline will help me. It's up to me to be that. I can't have anybody do that for me. I have to be the one to control myself. I have to be the one to set a plan for myself and then stick with that plan. And then say, how are you doing, Josh? Are you walking the path that is set before you? And then I have to be the one that works with my community to help hold me accountable. You know, and say, hey, can you check on me in a week and see how I'm doing? And then make sure that I'm honest with them and say, hey, this is how I'm doing. You know, that's what we have to do, is we have to be self-controlled and disciplined so that we don't fall into the steps or back into the traps that we were in before. And the same with our emotions, the same with our reactions in those tough situations. This is how we stay out of the situations that got us into that pain in the first place. This is how we can grow and heal from that pain. You know, we've got a mess sometimes inside of us, and it might be messy getting that mess straightened out. I don't mean to imply that the mess is only going to be fixed by self-control and discipline, because it's not. It might take time to heal. It might take counseling to heal. It might take medication to help treat the symptoms while we work through our healing. I'm not going to lie, it might take that for you, depending on the severity of your internal pain. But what it definitely is not going to get better at is if you stay the same, if you keep yelling at your wife, if you keep hiding in your room and playing video games and looking at porn, if you keep snapping at your kids, if you keep going to the bar and getting drunk, if you keep spending all your money on the TikTok shop before you make it and racking up debt, if you keep blaming politicians for all your problems, right? You know, this is not how we recover. This is how we stay the same. So guys, I just want to encourage you. You don't have to stay the same. We can grow. We can heal. You know, a bloody lip doesn't stay a bloody lip forever. A black eye doesn't stay a black eye forever. It'll heal. It'll get better. But it'll get better when you take the time to help it get better. Well, guys, that's my message for you today. I hope you take some time and think about it. Take some time and talk about it. Hop into the Facebook group. I'd love to hear your opinions on it. So go to the Manlihood Man Cave on Facebook. Tell me what you think about this episode. I think you can leave a comment for it on Spotify as well. Like, you can actually interact with the episode. Or if you're watching on YouTube, leave us a comment. We'd love to hear what you think about it. Tell me if I'm crazy. Tell me if I'm being ridiculous. I'd love to hear it. I'd love to hear you tell me that you think I'm ridiculous, because maybe I am. I have no idea. Let's hear what you think about it. I'd love to hear your opinions on this. And share it with a friend if it's something that if this episode is meaningful to you. But leave us a rating and a review on Spotify, on Apple. Let's get the word out about Manlihood. Let's tell our friends, guys. And yeah, make sure you check out Manlihood Plus and check out the Manlihood store. Go to manlihood.com/store. We've got some resources for you there and some really cool Manlihood gear. There's some embroidered hats and some cool polos, and like if you're a golf guy, like, see, I got a cool polo on right now, or you can get like a hoodie or a t-shirt or all kinds of cool stuff. So make sure you go check that out, manlihood.com/store. And as always, I love you. I'm proud of you. And I'll see you next time.
Thanks for being part of Manlihood. Now it's time for you to rise up and take action. Join the Manlihood Man Cave, our free Facebook group, and connect with the other men on the same journey. Don't forget to subscribe, leave a review, and share that episode with a friend. For more, visit manlihood.com.